For years, the camera community has been locked in a state of quiet suspense, waiting to see if Fujifilm would ever give us the successor we truly deserve. Ever since the X-Pro 3 launched, divided opinions, and eventually vanished from store shelves, the legacy of the true rangefinder-style mirrorless camera has hung in the balance. Photographers loved the analog soul, the tactile dials, and the pure joy of shooting with an optical viewfinder, but they wanted more. They wanted modern performance. They wanted a powerhouse that could handle professional workloads without losing that romantic, street-first identity. And now, the silence is finally breaking. Supply chain reports, insider roadmaps, and heavily verified factory leaks have given us our first crystal-clear look at the upcoming Fujifilm X-Pro 4. If you have been holding onto your cash, waiting for the ultimate marriage of vintage rangefinder aesthetics and bleeding-edge 21st-century technology, everything you thought you knew about what an APS-C camera can do is about to be challenged. This is not just a minor refresh. This is a complete reimagining of Fujifilm's most iconic lineup. To understand why the X-Pro 4 is generating this level of quiet intensity across the industry, we have to look at what made the previous generation both deeply loved and intensely frustrating. The X-Pro 3 was a purist's dream on paper. It gave you that titanium top plate, that gorgeous optical and electronic hybrid viewfinder, and a minimalist design philosophy that forced you to slow down and actually think about your composition. But it also came with choices that alienated a massive segment of creators. The hidden rear screen, the lack of robust stabilization for tricky low-light situations, and an aging sensor resolution left many photographers looking elsewhere, wondering if Fujifilm had abandoned the rangefinder concept in favor of their beloved XT series. But behind closed doors, Fujifilm engineers were listening. They were watching the market shift. They saw the explosive, viral craze around cameras like the X106, the massive resurgence of street photography in major urban centers from New York to Tokyo, and the overwhelming demand for a modular, interchangeable lens body that doesn't feel like a bulky DSLR. The X-Pro 4 is the direct answer to every single complaint, every single wishlist item, and every single prayer the Fujifilm community has whispered over the last few years. Let us start with the heart of the machine, because this is where the leaks turn from exciting to genuinely jaw-dropping. The X-Pro 4 is heavily rumored to inherit the absolute titan of a sensor currently driving Fujifilm's high-end professional lineup, the 40.2-megapixel X-Trans CMOS 5HR sensor, paired directly with the lightning-fast X processor 5. Think about what that means for a second. We are talking about massive resolution leaps that allow you to crop aggressively into your street frames while maintaining incredible edge-to-edge sharpness, micro-contrast, and dynamic range. For years, shooters worried that moving to a 40-megapixel APS-C sensor would introduce noise or compromise low-light performance. But the backside illuminated architecture of this sensor changes the game entirely. You get crystal-clear shadow recovery, gorgeous color gradients, and files that hold up effortlessly whether you are printing gallery-sized wall art or punching in for tight commercial crops. Paired with the 5th-generation processor, the data readout speeds are so fast that rolling shutter is virtually eliminated, and the camera processes heavy image files instantaneously, ensuring you never miss a split-second moment while working the streets. And then, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the feature that many industry insiders swore would never fit inside the slim, flat profile of an X-Pro body. In-body image stabilization. For years, the official excuse from camera designers was that the complex housing of the hybrid optical viewfinder simply took up too much internal real estate to leave room for a floating stabilization unit. But engineering has evolved, and supply chain leaks point to a breakthrough, a newly redesigned, ultra-compact 5-axis IBIS system capable of delivering up to 7 stops of shake reduction. Let that sink in. A true rangefinder body, small enough to slip into a coat pocket with a pancake lens attached, that lets you shoot handheld shutter speeds down to a full second in dimly lit alleyways or moody indoor bars without a hint of blur. This single upgrade transforms the X-Pro series from a specialized, niche street shooter's toy into an absolute all-weather, all-condition professional powerhouse. You are no longer forced to push your ISO into grainy territory just to keep your shots sharp when the sun goes down. Of course, a high-end camera in this day and age lives or dies by its autofocus intelligence, and Fujifilm is not holding back here either. The X-Pro 4 is slated to feature the latest deep learning, AI-powered subject detection algorithms. We are talking about algorithms trained to recognize not just human faces and eyes, but animals, birds, automobiles, trains, and fast-moving urban subjects with terrifying precision. The hybrid autofocus system uses hundreds of phase detection points scattered across the entire frame, locking onto fast-moving targets instantly. Imagine walking through a bustling downtown core, raising your camera to your eye, and having the focus snap onto a moving cyclist or a darting pedestrian before you even have time to consciously think about it. It combines the soulful, meditative experience of manual optical rangefinders shooting with the ruthless, infallible accuracy of modern computational tracking. It bridges the gap between old-school discipline and modern execution in a way few other camera bodies on the market can manage. Let's talk about the exterior design, because the physical build of an X-Pro camera is practically a religion to its owners. There has been intense debate across forums and creator channels regarding whether Fujifilm will stick to the controversial hidden screen design of the X-Pro 3 or pivot toward a more functional, modern layout. Current insider reports strongly indicate that Fujifilm has listened to the community backlash and is refining the rear display. While keeping the classic, low-profile aesthetic intact, leaks suggest a refined, ultra-thin tilting or flush mechanism that gives you the best of both worlds. You get a clean, distraction-free back face when you want to shoot purely through the glass, but the moment you need to drop low for dynamic waist-level street compositions or grab a quick high-angle shot, the screen articulates smoothly without ruining the sleek, boxy lines of the titanium-infused magnesium body. Speaking of the body materials, expect top-tier weather sealing, tactile mechanical dials that click with absolute authority, and an ergonomic grip profile that feels secure and balanced even when you mount heavier prime lenses. And then there is the crown jewel of the entire experience, the hybrid viewfinder. This is what separates an X-Pro from everything else in the photographic universe. With a simple flick of a front lever, you can instantly shift from a bright, crystal-clear optical window featuring glowing electronic frame lines and parallax correction to a high-resolution OLED electronic viewfinder. Leaks indicate that this next-generation hybrid system is getting a massive bump in clarity, pushing a dense multi-million dot resolution onto the electronic overlay panel. This means you can view your live exposure values, check your histogram, and review your gorgeous film simulations right inside the glass without ever breaking your connection to the physical scene unfolding in front of you. It is immersive, it is deeply engaging, and it completely alters how you interact with your environment. You are not looking at a screen or a flat electronic feed, you are looking at the world, framed and augmented by pure optical brilliance. For the hybrid shooters and modern content creators out there, Fujifilm is also giving the video capabilities a massive shot in the arm. While the X-Pro line has historically been prized as a pure stills machine, the X-Pro 4 is rumored to support stunning high-resolution internal video capture, including 6.2K profiles and pristine 4K at 60 frames per second in 10-bit color. Coupled with F-Log2 for incredible dynamic range grading and post-production in Fujifilm's legendary suite of built-in film simulations like Classic Negative, Realize, and Acros, you can pull cinematic, color-graded footage straight out of a camera that looks like a vintage film rangefinder. Imagine capturing moody cinematic street B-roll or professional documentary interviews on a setup that draws zero unwanted attention, blending into the background while delivering high-end broadcast read. Why output? When you put all of these pieces together, the picture becomes very clear. Industry tracking and insider roadmaps point to an official announcement window in the latter half of the year, following closely on the heels of other major platform updates. Pricing expectations are projected to sit comfortably in the professional tier, reflecting the massive upgrade in internal technology, robust sensor pipelines, and premium build materials. It is a camera designed for the purist who refuses to compromise on modern performance, for the street photographer who demands absolute reliability in the field, and for the creator who values the tactile, emotional connection to the craft of image making.